was due to go for the 20-week scan, and during the scan, the sonographer, he said everything was fine. Jumped into the car, having gotten the report in my hand, and I opened up the report and I read, evidence of cleft lip and possible palate.
We didn't know what that meant really. So we, of course, Dr. Google. She came into the home office in tears.
It was already a stressful pregnancy because it was a high-risk pregnancy due to my age and the fact that we had a miscarriage prior. Andre did a lot to calm me down, and then we sort of just put our heads together and realized no matter what, we had to do what we had to do.
We started to do our research to understand, where would be the best place to treat with cleft lip and palate. Can we do the delivery in Trinidad, or do we have to go abroad? And we started looking at options in the UK, and then we started to look at options in the USA. But Nicklaus Children's Hospital, the team, the staff, like the whole thing came together. They were forthcoming with information which was absolutely essential to us from a financial standpoint, logistics standpoint. We just needed to understand, what is this process, what are the next steps, can we meet with the team to understand what this thing sounds like.
When families come to us prenatally, sometimes they will have a printout for us from the ultrasound so we can take a look at the images. But we always counsel families that when we're having that initial conversation, we can't be sure to what extent that cleft continues through lip, through gums, and into palate. I met Enya's family at that initial prenatal consultation where we were reviewing everything that was to come. Once Enya was then born, in our Miami area, then we saw her, and we could see that this was what we would call a complete cleft of the lip and palate, meaning that the separation of the lips extends all the way up into the floor of the nose, and then also all the way back into the palate as well.
I mean, to me, she was perfect. There was nothing. I felt just maybe even just as I felt when I held my first daughter. One of our main concerns is at the onset is, and even prior to her birth, is feeding, because we knew that was going to be an issue, right? How do we feed her, to sustain her, make sure she gains the intended weight before surgery and whatnot.
For some infants like Enya, who have a very wide, complete cleft lip and palate, they may be candidates for this molding appliance called a NAM device. It essentially is a type of retainer-like plate that our orthodontic assistant will make in a custom fashion, and it helps start to narrow in the cleft and also shape the nose so that we can set the stage for surgical repair. The first surgery that Enya had was the cleft lip repair, and Enya had a really beautiful result in terms of how much improvement that she had with the nostril shaping, as well as narrowing of the gum ridges by the cleft. The recent visit that Enya had with us was for her cleft palate repair, which is the second of the two procedures. Everything went very, very well. The family was in town for a brief period after the surgery for us to ensure that she was back eating and drinking well, and then we will see her again in a few weeks to check the healing of her palate, but she did very, very well.
She's a real trooper. She pretty much shocked us in that she immediately ate. With the second surgery, again, they warned us, they might not want to eat and they might give us some trouble. And she had 2 bottles of fruit by spoon the same afternoon following her surgery. She's a very resilient little one.
So once we've repaired the palate and the palate muscles are now working as we hope, we are listening for certain consonant sounds, and we can get enough of an inventory at that 18-month mark to see if we're sort of on target. And if we're not, then we're going to make some recommendations for some speech therapy services. But we will plan to see her back in our multidisciplinary team when she's about 18 months old.
I am not sure what this process would have felt like outside of Nicklaus. It could not be better. It's not an easy road, but it really does help when you have the right group of people and the right team around you. It gives us as parents confidence. It provides for a fantastic outcome for Enya, obviously. And we have a lot of confidence that the rest of her life would be defined by what happened over the last few months. And then, of course, working with this team as we move forward, we feel good about what her life looks like.